Is there a deep state pulling India's strings beneath the surface? Madhu Kishwar will help analyze recent events concerning Newslaundry and urban Naxals in the context of the deep state. Madhu, welcome. We have a very important situation with the Kerala floods, and I have been attacked. I'd like your comments on this, and we'll get started.
Firstly, like many others, I was deeply disturbed to witness the kind of vicious attack you faced on social media. It started with Newslaundry. Now, the point is, here you are, a person with a long track record of actually working for flood victims, tsunami victims, earthquake victims. You've also raised huge amounts of money, a lot of it from your own pocket, and then also gotten matching donations from, crowdsourcing to help victims of these devastations. Now, with a person of that kind of track record, the least one expects from the media is that they speak with a sense of responsibility. But they went after you as though you were some kind of a street lumpen out to promote communal hatred. Whereas what I saw in your tweets and subsequent explanations, you were stating bare facts. You talked about the fact that all these tragedies are used both by Islamists and by evangelicals to promote conversions. Now, this is not something as though your own personal discovery. The fact is that whole continents have been have witnessed genocides, refusing to convert, or have actually converted. The Americas, Latin America, Africa, all of Africa, and New Zealand and Australia, the natives were either wiped out, witnessed or experienced genocides, and the remaining were forced to convert. Now, the part that really amazes me, India, which has witnessed a partition based on forced conversions, because the converted populations are demanding separate homeland. India, which is facing secessionist movement, a bloody, militant, jihadi separatist movement in Kashmir, by those who till a few centuries ago are descendants, are from the same ethnic stock that you and I belong to. Now, we don't learn from that. Also, we're facing insurgencies in all those areas which have witnessed massive conversions to Christianity. It's a daily fraud being enacted in India, in many districts where there's demographic changes brought about, serious demographic changes brought about, whereby Hindus are becoming a minority and then getting persecuted. In such a situation, somebody like you warns of the dangers of misuse of funds collected globally for disaster relief, then a large percentage being used for conversions later on. You're stating a well-known, well-established fact. How then do they go after you in this manner? What's happening? What are the forces behind our so-called liberal media that make them do such horrendous things?
Thank you, Madhu. This is a very good intro and a preamble to the situation we are facing. You see, Newslaundry knows me. I've had interactions with them in the past. They know how to reach me. And if I'm the main target of their story, the normal courtesy and professionalism is that you call the person and say, here, we are doing a story. What do you have to say? What's your statement? What's your point of view? At least pretend to be balanced, even if in the end they are not. But at least give me a chance. Not only they failed to do that, but I have written to them. They made fun of me. They put out Twitter calling me low IQ. And this Abhinandan who's the CEO, is more interested in saying I'm the CEO of Newslaundry and not somebody else, as if that's the real issue. I mean, a very childish kind of attitude, completely ignoring the issues I raised, not wanting to discuss with me anything about, let me give you a little bit about the issues. In 2011, Gadgil report was put in front of the government that these Western Ghats are very vulnerable for floods because there is a wrong, irresponsible development going on, and came up with a plan to stop it and to prevent these kind of floods which they predicted. But a delegation of Kerala cardinals from the church went to Sonia Gandhi and convinced her not to do it because they are one of the big landowners and their land would be disrupted, and they threatened all kinds of things. So no action was taken. Well, that's history, but it's important to understand it. Now the same Gadgil is
landowners; they're also land grabbers.
Land grabbers. That's it.
The first right over the prime land. It's not just during the British that the church got prime real estate in all cities of India, wherever the British settled down, in and around, the prime estate, large tracts of it were given to the church. And they take it as a divine right to claim it from the Indian government, and the Indian government has been obliging. If they land grab, nobody in the government has the guts to stop it. Just as if mosque takes over public land, nobody has the guts to say we shall demolish it like we demolish other illegal structures.
Right. And even in recent days during the floods, the Kerala Church spokesperson have said they will not accept any intervention in their properties. And Gadgil the same man has come out and said that Goa could be next, because similar things have happened in Goa also. Now these are environmentalists. So that is an issue the media doesn't want to talk about. The next issue is this.
No, but then let's finish that story about these cardinals going to Sonia Gandhi. And then she arm twisting the government not to take any follow-up action on the Gadgil report. Is that right?
Right.
And
that is correct. That is correct.
That's what you had talked about.
That's what we're talking about. So at least it's a topic for conversation. The media ought to at least talk about it. Another thing is, when this Kerala flood started, there was a flurry of fundraising in the United States. You expect all kind of church groups and this and that, everybody raising funds. I called a few of them and said, are you willing to come on my show and go on the record that you will give an audited statement of where every dollar goes to make sure it all goes to the victims and it is not siphoned off anywhere else? And are you willing to come and give me the assurance that none of this will be diverted towards proselytizing and conversion? They were not willing to do that. In 2004, when the tsunami hit, my foundation raised a lot of money to build a youth hostel right where the orphans were and look after them. And the village panchayat gave us the land because the Tamil Nadu government was only giving land to World Vision and these kind of foreign NGOs. So Swami Dayanand Saraswati asked me to go and build a documentary. I've spent 3 months living there with a camera crew, and the documentary is around 30 minutes, which is on my website. We showed what World Vision was doing and how they were diverting funds. You come for help, they'll give you a leaflet, they'll put you into this conversion program. If you say no, then you are in a secondary line. All of this stuff was going on. And I've also found out that 75% of the millions of dollars that these people raised were not used in the disaster, but they were kept for future use to rebuild the community, but rebuild the community according to their ideology. So they would build the kind of evangelistic programs and education and all that for those, and converting people. So the money was largely, only 20-30% was used for the actual disaster relief while it was happening. The rest of it was used later on over many years to convert the demographics of that whole Nagapattinam district. Now I have this data, and I was shocked that years have gone by, nobody has gone afterwards. When the water receded, people thought the matter is over, but the matter is not over. The after effects go on for decades. and so no investigative reporter has gone there. My Chhatralaya, my youth hostel, we have a foundation stone. We were well received by the villagers. They loved it. Swami Dayanand Saraswati's Aim for Seva is operating it. It's a multi-story building. People can go there and look at it. So we actually achieved something, even though on a small scale, in an island surrounded by all these hostile forces. Nobody has gone and taken a look at that.
How do you account for the fact that the Tamil Nadu government would not give you one piece of land, but they've been very generous in giving it to World Vision and a whole host of evangelical groups and Islamic groups?
Yes, and you know the strange thing is, Swami Dayanand Saraswati, a man of great stature, from Tamil Nadu himself, wanting that, okay, we are putting up this money, we want to look after the orphans, they would not help them. So the Serudur village panchayat gave their own panchayat land, which they have their own panchayat land, to help us build this youth hostel. So the youth hostel, we did the whole project on panchayat land, so that nobody else had any authority over it. I went and did a documentary. I lived with the villagers. I went on their boats. I investigated various kinds of fishing and various jatis. I really got to know the coastal community firsthand. So mine is not a cause sitting up in the sky doing copy paste and rabble rousing. I've actually put in my sweat, put in my time, my energy, my money, and I've worked very hard. I also did that for the earlier Gujarat 2001 earthquake. So I have something to say. Now, if the media don't like what I'm saying, they should challenge my facts and I will deliver my facts. They should say, okay, give us some evidence of what you are saying. I will give them evidence. But they don't want to talk about the subject matter. They just want to accuse me, slander me, and put me aside.
Rajiv, facts is something that their business is to distort. If they are paid to distort, then if you come out with facts and a few lakh people hear you seriously, take you seriously, they are going to hate you. But what I want to get back at is this the deep state at work, that Swami Dayanand Saraswati can't get a piece of land? Rajiv Malhotra, who dips into his own pocket and contributes generously for rehabilitation of the tsunami affected, can't get a piece of land, but the evangelicals can. How have they acquired such a vicious control over the state machinery? If they control the state machinery, then it's not difficult for them to control media narrative. They're so partial that it's like a paid hit job. It doesn't look like journalism.
Yes. So, regarding World Vision, I have bad news. In the Kerala floods, Amazon India, on their website, to raise funds for Kerala floods, they are advertising World Vision. So they are supporting World Vision as the charity of choice for Kerala funds. So, you know, World Vision is a very corporate entity. They got lawyers, they got marketing people, they're very sophisticated, they work with governments, they go work with media, they fly the people who promote them to
Indian
international places.
Give it to them, Rajiv.
Yes.
Indian corporate. I really think that we should give a call for boycott of Amazon if they act in such a partisan manner. And I certainly will not order anything further from Amazon till such time as they give up this partisan conduct.
You see, what's happening is, from one disaster to the next, things are getting worse, in the sense, at least I could go and criticize what these people were doing in the tsunami. At least I had a voice. Maybe I had a small voice, nothing to beat the media with, but nobody came after me, they ignored me. Now they don't like some voices like ours to raise these issues. Even the issue being raised that says, okay, we ought to have some safeguards, that is very dangerous. These guys will come after you. I want to do a comparison with China. Now, China does not allow people like World Vision to have a free play and come in and set up their camps and do what they want. If foreign funded evangelists and so on want to donate, they have to donate to the government, and they have to be, whatever work these people are allowed to do is under government supervision. They are not allowed to just go out and do what they want. Now, India is not a poor country anymore. It has enough wealth. Why do we want to be beggars and sell out our poor people, poor vulnerable people, at the mercy of these foreign breaking India forces? So it's also a matter of dignity for a country that we should be able to look after our own people. And we have, by the way, there are 8.5 lakh people doing rescue work in Kerala, according to a report by First Post. So it's not a shortage of manpower. And I know I was on the board of the American Red Cross. Beyond a certain amount of manpower, the disaster is counterproductive to just keep dumping more and more relief workers. After a certain optimum number of relief workers, it's a liability to just have random people show up trying to help. So Kerala does not have a shortage of good, competent, hard-working relief work. They are doing an incredible job. So many people, the government, the Navy, military, doing an incredible job. So while that work is going on, as far as the money part is concerned to support it, there is enough wealth in India that we don't need to go out as beggars somewhere. So we don't need either physical labor volunteers from somewhere else, nor do we need their money. And if they want to help, it should be channeled and properly scrutinized by our own people. So I am the one who's trying to make a case for that. And I'm being hit and stopped because what I want to say is considered very dangerous.
Would you agree that at this point in time, given that Modi government, and Modi in particular, and BJP in general, have been at the receiving end of these defamation, demonization campaign by the very same forces and characters that are attacking you today? They're such a hydra-headed monster, this group. But the core group, they were the same people who went after BJP and Modi and tried to prevent him coming into power as Prime Minister. And the point is, why is Modi and this current government not being firm and simply banning foreign funding, except from recognized NRI persons who will give their accounts, who will be transparent in their giving? Why don't they do that? We beg them to do so. You know very well that many of us signed a petition after our conference on foreign funding.
Yes, that was a very important conference you did, and it had a huge impact. And I think next time...
we presented a petition. Swami Dayanand Saraswati was also a signatory. This government has kind of done knee-jerk reactions, stopping funding for this and stopping funding for Greenpeace and then restoring it. But they don't dare say enough is enough. You want to work, you want political freedom, you want to run your campaigns, do it with Indian money. Why don't they have the guts to do that?
Yeah, and there's precedence. There are so many countries in the world which say that, okay, looking after our people is our job. And there is a Prime Minister's Relief Fund kind of a mechanism. If you want to really help us, you put your money there, and we know how to use it. We know how to use it better. We don't need you to come and manage the whole process yourself. This would be an absolutely perfect thing to do. Prime Minister's Relief Fund, as the sole mechanism in any disaster, should be the vehicle for receiving this money.
Absolutely.
And also there should be a requirement, if somebody is involved, there should be a transparency requirement. They should get a proper certified audited report. They should sign a pledge of not being allowed to convert people during a time of distress. It's just simple 3 or 4 steps that are common sense. But somehow I don't understand why the powers to be in today's government have not taken such steps. And I'm bewildered and baffled, and it may come back and haunt them.
No, it's already haunting them. Because far from winning over these elements by going soft on them, actually now they have become far more bloodthirsty and they are going for a kill as far as Modi and BJP are concerned. So mind you, the players are the same. Just that the powers behind them are so well heeled and so well entrenched that nobody dares question their might or their narrative on every issue and any issue. what is it that makes the government so cowardly is something that I think, just as you did your Break Up India Forces book, Breaking Up India, I think another book is actually primed to be written, which is how they control the deep state here, the state machinery in India, and what makes people so petrified. It's not just the fear of being politically incorrect, because they can also destroy your careers. And I really think that we need to collect stories, document case studies and histories of how people's careers were ruined simply because they didn't fall in line. The kind of control they exercise over jobs, over opportunities, over career advancement, over everything. That book is primed to be written.
So I have a concrete proposal along the lines of your suggestion. If we put our heads together, we can announce a conference on this very topic and bring in good speakers who have proper stories, research, case studies to do. We can either hold it in October, or if it's too soon, we can formulate it and hold it early next year. And my foundation will be more than happy to be responsible for funding this, but I want you to co-author with me this edited volume. So you bring in the right speakers, you select the people who know it, we can do a 1-day, 2-day event somewhere in Delhi or somewhere, and from the best papers out of that, we can put this book together and then spread this book in a big way. At least I'll tell you one thing, the awareness of Breaking India Forces is much more now than it was, say, 15, 20 years ago. While the powers to be in the mainstream and those who are fighting the deep state have not changed, but the point is we also have a voice on our side. So events like the conversation we are having today are raising more and more people joining our forces, more and more people following us. So we're also building our Kshatriya, our intellectual Kshatriya home team. And this conference leading to a book would actually help us in that respect. So this is my offer to you. And if you think this is a good idea, then in October we can.
Great idea, and I'm not only willing to co-host it with you, but also promise you my own life story. I think I'm one of the consistent victims, and
absolutely,
that I've survived that many years is simply because I wasn't particularly ambitious. And I could say, hell with your career opportunities, I can do without.
So this is a great idea to close on. I'll count on you to create a list of potential people who should be the scholars and coming together. If we have 8, 10 good, solid, articles, we can write a nice book together and bring more people into our tent and spread the movement even further.
What I would suggest is that we announce right now that people can write to either or both of us at the following email addresses.
You can write to either with your story, with an overview, and we will select. Madhu will be the one leading this selection. We'll pick the best people, bring them into this project, and put a book together.
But we will have a public hearing.
Yes.
The nature of a public hearing, not
yes.
so conference. People telling their stories of what
Very
they
good.
have gone through for not falling in line with this deep state narrative, which is now making its agenda clearer by the hour, which is breaking up India. Because it's a fact, wherever massive conversions have taken place, either in favor of Christianity or in favor of Islam, we are witnessing insurgencies, we are witnessing bloody genocides, we are witnessing wiping clean, and Hindus as an endangered species have had to run away from those areas, just as Kashmiri Pandits did. Similarly, in Bengal, also some of the border areas, Hindus have had to flee. Now, the least we owe our own people is take note. take note
Yes.
of their distress. So it's time that we collected these stories. As you said, we'll have not a conference, Rajiv, but we call it Jan Sunwai, a public hearing of
Very good.
of the left Christo-Islamic narrative in India, because they've obviously ganged up, and
So,
those stories
so
need to be put together.
excellent. So, with that, I want to thank you and I want to thank the viewers. Stay tuned. If you haven't already, support us, subscribe to this channel, like it, retweet, share it with people, support us. We are going to do this project jointly. We'll start the ball rolling in October when I'm in India. We'll have it on camera. We'll make a nice thing out of it.
So we may
We
not be
need
able
all.
to do it in October, the public hearing, but we will start preparing the groundwork in October and organize it early next year.
Yes, that's what we'll do. Thank you very much, Madhu. It's always relevant, important, impactful when I speak to you, because you are to the point, hard hitting, and I like that. Thank you so much. And let's continue the good fight.
All set.
Thank you.
Good luck and stay
Good
healthy
luck.
and live long. Bye.
You too. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste, everybody.